Hello, everyone. You watching the guest on Gabo 24. The presidential election takes place every 4 years in the United States. It is a presidential election that is difficult to understand, but by many people I want to say, but it is part of a process that seems to be well organized. For this year, 2020, we will try to understand the current situation of, to some extent, President-elect Joe Biden, if possible, but above all, how the election goes in America, thanks to our guest, Mrs. Brittany Thompson, who is the Public Affairs Officer in the United States of America Embassy in Gabon. The topic being year 2020 presidential election in Gabon, challenges and vision, if possible. Madam, welcome to Gabon 24.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, pretty good. So we'll go straight, if you allow me.
Sure.
All right. So, well, people around the world notice how it is, how this year's 2020 U.S. election questions the issue of a democratically organized election in America. So what does organizing a democratic election implies during the campaign, during voting, and after, election in the USA?
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say thank you again for inviting me to this program. I'm very excited to be here and talk a little bit about our electoral process.
All right.
So democracy is really one of the founding principles of the United States.
Okay.
And this year we had a record turnout. It was the highest participation since 1900.
Okay.
We truly believe that every voice should be heard and every vote should be counted. And we encourage every citizen to vote, to participate in the democratic process,
Okay.
because that not only strengthens our democracy, it strengthens our country as well.
All right, good. So you said democracy is among, the key or main principles. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the other principles which are quite important in the USA.
Sure. I think, democracy is really one of the strongest principles that we have, and you saw evidence of that this year in the elections. But we believe in freedom of thought, in diversity of thought. We believe in a lot of different principles, honestly.
Okay.
But I would love to be able to talk a little bit more about the elections,
Okay.
if possible.
All right. So what else? Well, if you allow me, let's move on then. If we should focus on the election, do you think, in terms of, I'm going to say it, in terms of outcome concerning, the involvement of minorities in America, do you think minorities were that much involved in this election?
So I think it's important to look at some of the statistics. I mean, we saw nearly 160 million Americans cast their vote this year.
Okay.
Again, it was one of the highest participation rates that we've had in recent years. So it's important to note that, Americans understand that we have to be committed to democracy, we have to participate, we have to vote. And that's what you saw this year.
Pretty interesting, pretty interesting. Anyway, America always inspires other countries. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, as long as you are part of, the U.S. Embassy in Gabon, let's talk a little bit about, the U.S. Embassy in Gabon. Do the cooperation scholarship for studying in America or in USA still exist?
Yeah, so study abroad is just so important. Students get the tools and the experiences that they need to come back to their home countries and get ready to just change the world. It's such a transformative experience studying abroad. And I speak from personal experiences. I also was a study abroad student when I was in college. So I am excited to be able to say that the U.S. Embassy has several programs dedicated to sending students to the United States to study. Our program is called Education USA.
Okay.
And we strongly encourage anyone who's interested in studying abroad in the U.S. to get in touch with our Education USA advisors. They are located at our John Lewis American Corner, which is right here in Libreville in the Glass neighborhood. So we encourage everyone to get in touch with them, to make an appointment. They can tell you information about deadlines and about requirements, about scholarships, about financial aid, any information that you need so that you can go abroad and study in the United States.
All right. So you mean, students need to go to the American Corner? Is that?
They can. It's a resource. It's a resource. We have two different ways that they can get this information.
Okay.
One is by going in person to the American Corner.
Okay.
But we also recognize that we are in the midst of a global pandemic. So instead of going physically to the corner, all of that information is online as well.
All right.
At educationusa.state.gov.
Okay.
Or you can check our Facebook page We do have a Facebook page that is dedicated to Education USA here in Gabon.
Okay.
Just to give you a couple of interesting statistics, this year we had 280 students who
pretty good.
actually studied in the United States.
280.
280, yes.
My God, though the impact of the pandemic.
Exactly, yeah. So typically we see more than that. Often we'll see numbers upwards of about 300.
Okay.
But this year it did dip a bit because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes.
All right, okay. So maybe you talk about Education Education USA, that's the program. Are there
Yes.
other programs? Maybe you can, why not, talk a little bit about other programs except the one, except Education USA. Are there other programs?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. So if you are not familiar with our American Corner, we highly encourage you to get engaged with us, to stop by, to reach us on Facebook or on our website. Through the American Corner, we have all sorts of cultural and English language programming
Okay.
for anyone who's interested in the United States and in learning English, and interested in cultural exchanges as well.
Okay, so what the cultural aspect of the activities there is all about?
So often we will have different events that correspond with cultural happenings in the United States. So for example, in February, it's Black History Month. So we will have cultural programming around Black History Month.
Okay.
In March, it's Women's History Month. And in April, Earth Day. So we often will put on programs like that. Again, it is COVID times, unfortunately. So a lot of our programming over the coming months will be virtual, but that also means that more people can participate. So
right.
we're excited about that, and we hope that people will join us.
All right, wow, that's pretty interesting. We're very happy having you here one more time.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you tell me, talk a little bit, if you allow me, about the English department of Mabongo University.
Sure.
Do you have any partnership with that department or not?
With whom? I'm sorry?
I'm saying, do you have any, let's say, official partnership or any partnership with the English department of Mabongo University?
I'll have to look into that, whether we have an official partnership. What I do know is that, again, through the American Corner, we actually offer conversation clubs and opportunities for the students to practice their English and to interact with both advanced advanced English speakers from Gabon, as well as Americans who are based in the United States but connect with us virtually. And so they have these classes where the students can interact with these English speakers. They have an opportunity to practice. They can answer questions, give their opinion. And then we also weave in that cultural aspect as well, because that's so important. And we want our students to be able to comfortably talk about these topics.
All right. So you said you're going to check whether there's an official partnership with the Mabongo University or not. Above all the English department. But what about with do you know INBG, which is the National Agency for Scholarship for Gabonese students? Do you have any partnership with them?
Again, I have to get back to you.
Yeah, sure.
I know that we have a lot of partnerships with different organizations and different agencies here in Gabon, and we're always looking to make more partnerships and to make more relationships in country, because that's so important.
Sure.
It's so important for us to work together.
Okay.
So those are two that I will absolutely look into and hopefully come back with additional answers.
Okay, so can we be hopeful that in terms of, let's say, education cooperation, things will be going better and better?
Well, I think education is a priority, especially English language education, and so we will absolutely continue our programming here in Gabon. It's a top priority for the U.S. Embassy, and so you can expect to see that program continue.
Pretty good, pretty interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Guest on Gabon 24, and we have let's say, the U.S. Embassy here with us. Okay, the representative, if you allow me to say so, Mrs. Brittany Thompson, who is the Public Affairs Officer. Is it that?
Yes.
Pretty good. No, we talked about, let's say, the U.S. Embassy activities, and let's talk a little bit about the promotion of the English language in Gabon.
Sure.
Okay. Well, there are English clubs existing. Okay, so what is the involvement of or the assistance of the U.S. Embassy in Gabon to English clubs?
Sure. So we have a variety of opportunities and ways for anyone who's interested in learning English or practicing the English they already have to do so. The one that I mentioned already is through the American Corner, the John Lewis American Corner here in Libreville. These classes are completely free. You just need to sign up on our website. you would just go to the Facebook page for the John Lewis American Corner, and there you'll find the schedule and additional information about these clubs.
Okay.
We also have books
Okay.
in English, and we, of course, encourage our students to read some of these books and familiarize themselves with the English language that way as well.
All right. Talking about culture one more time, there is, if I remember, let's say the book club or the readers club at the U.S. Embassy. Does it still exist?
Yes. So again, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we did have to pause several of our programs
Sure.
earlier this year. We're starting them up again. So we are starting to reopen in a very limited way
Okay.
because we want to make sure that everyone is still safe and able to maintain their social distancing.
Okay.
So look to our website again, look to our Facebook page, because
Okay.
we will start to announce more opportunities like the book club
Okay.
over the coming months.
All right. Okay. Pretty good. Let's say, as far as the BHM is concerned, do you think that, let's say, Gabonese people are kind of have adapted to the idea and that they are really involved in the BHM, Black History Month?
In Black History Month? Well, we consistently see a ton of interest in the programs that we do through the American Corner. And
Okay.
so that just is one of the most wonderful things that we see is tons of participation, tons of questions about the culture, about Black History Month, about the history. And so that's why we do it. We really want to create a space where Gabonese people can come and ask us
Okay.
about our culture, and
Sure.
we can share information about their culture as well.
Wonderful. That's pretty interesting. So, let's say we've come almost to the end of this program. We only have 1 minute remaining. Let's say, maybe is there any last word before your conclusion, if you allow me so to say so? Is there anything you want to add about the election in America?
Just that, we saw such a record turnout, and I think it showed the commitment that we have to the democratic process. We're really proud of our election workers, and we're proud of our citizens who recognize the magnitude of elections and carried out a very important task.
All right. So you have a last word, please.
Okay.
Because
I just want to thank you again for having us here on the program. We do appreciate this opportunity. Please do, all of your viewers, I hope that they will check us out on our website. You can find us on Facebook with the John Lewis American Corner or the U.S. Embassy, Libreville. And we hope that we will welcome all of you to the embassy soon. And until then, we wish you the best for the upcoming year.
Wonderful. Madam, we've come to the end of this TV program. I hope to see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting also our invitation. I recall that you are Mrs. Brittany Thompson, Public Affairs Officer in the U.S. Embassy in Libreville. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out. COVID-19 is not yet over. Keep practicing the barrier gestures for your health. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you. Goodbye.